Alright, welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls with Synn. Let's actually start the game instead of my boring tutorial lesson.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, two bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
Sorry about the tricky camera work. I'm using the numpad for camera. Oh yeah, I forgot. Shiny! And I also forgot. Why have I not leveled up while I was showing all my stuff? Because of parameters, I have to put a lot into strength and dexterity fairly early. And even some into intelligence and faith. Either that or just not use the weapon I have equipped at times. If I ever get... I can screw myself by getting into a situation where I can use none of the weapons two-hand that I have equipped. I'm talking about the challenge, by the way. If you're playing through the game naturally, you will never get into that situation. Oh yes, we can jester. Stuff like beckon over, bow down before a fight, and we can learn more gestures. Let's talk to this boy.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Thoroland. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
No, he doesn't want to talk to me. You know what? Screw you.
I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Oh boy, a coin. Let's check that out. Oh yes, our pendant. I'll let you read that. Basically, all of the lore in this game will be described in items descriptions. Either that, or through NPC dialogues like this.
You again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Oh yeah.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
This is our first covenant, named the Way of the White. It will allow us to get more cooperative. I think it also puts us at the bottom of who will be invaded. Invasion... I'm sorry, he's talking.
Ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
Invasions are basically PvP rape. They're non-consensual PvP. I'm not gonna buy anything from this guy. I'm probably gonna... No. I am not buying anything from anybody. That's simply how it works. Well, that's not completely true. I will only buy spell tools, upgrade material. How about this? In the top here, I will not buy anything under this slot. Anything except for spell tools under this slot. Or anything under this slot. Rings, I'm giving myself free reign with. Arrows, I'm giving myself free reign with. Keys, obviously. And upgrade materials and items. mainly it's just armor and weapons and shields. So we got a new, what would you call it? A new jester. My favorite one. Shrug. I use that jester way too much. I apparently unequipped the club, sorry. Back, Petrus. No, I just want to display some secrets in here. You drop down here, what looks like a desk is none of the such. Rather, we just get free loot. Cracked red orbs, those let us invade people. Morning Star and Talisman. Homeward Bones, extremely useful, they return us to the last bonfire. The Talisman is a face, or miracle using item. And Lloyd's Talisman, which when you're invading will prevent the host from using an Estus Flask. Now, like I said, Morning Star on, Talisman on. We just need our ranged weapon. I am getting out of this area. But first, shiny. There's shiny deeper in there, but then I have to run past a bunch of skeletons, and we're not really strong enough to fight skeletons yet. Well, we are technically, but I don't really want to go that way yet. Oh, there's our crow. So, I've gotten everything I believe I need from this area, talked to all the NPCs I can. Let's actually get into some combat. What do you have to say? Try a ranged battle. Wish I could. First thing we want is to get a better shield. This shield is bad. Now these guys are a lot stronger than the hollows we were fighting before. And if you're not careful and you get swarmed at any point in the game, anywhere, you will die. Well, you have a possibility, but it is very likely for you to die. Luckily, if you die, you leave what's known as a bloodstain, and you can come back and you drop all of your souls in the soft humanity at least. And when you come back, it will be on the ground, unless you die again. If you die again, your previous bloodstain is lost, and you leave a new one. Why don't I show a parry on the next guy, or attempt to? And if not, I'll show how much damage they do. Oh, that's how much damage you take in one hit. Without armor, of course. This is a parry, and a riposte. Yeah, not fun to get hit by. I don't know if you saw the shiny, but there was one over here. That is how I refer to items, by the way. Ring of Sacrifice. Our first ring, but I don't want to use it. Lose nothing upon death, which means you don't leave a bloodstain, but you don't drop the souls. The best use of those, in my mind, is after you've died once, you equip it, because then you won't create a new bloodstain if you die running back to your souls. Thus, it's kind of a buffer if you lose a large amount of souls. Large amount is, of course, relative. Later on in the game, souls are worth less. Like, these 430 now are half a level. Later on, they won't be worth crap. These Souls of the Lost Undead are consumables that can be used for X amount of souls for a lost undead. It is 200. Let's use one just to display. You will find bigger ones, but no smaller ones. You can see not all enemies will be humanoid or undead. Back in the camp, those two I talked to, I could kill them if I want. Well, I could try to kill them if I want. Likely die. Be wary of tears. Welcome to Dark Souls. But I'm not gonna... I like them too much. Okay, just trying to pull them out one at a time, which is basically one of the most used things you'll see me use in this game. That is, of course, if you stick around watching me. You get 2 people on, the game doesn't get twice as hard. It gets at least 5 times. Especially with slow weapon like this Morning Star. Let alone if you don't have a shield or if you're in a corridor and they're on either side of you. That's when the game gets harsh. And we'll do some exploring. Hopefully get rid of this Morning Star. In all honesty, I do not like this weapon. There is a staircase here. And that takes us to corpse, which tend to have items. I like to keep those souls until I am, say, 100 souls from leveling up, but then I can just pop one, and I'm good to go. Looks like the hollows are following us. Of course, not talking about the soldiers we've been fighting. You can see that guy over there, just hanging on. We can't really use a talisman, our guy's confused about it, because we don't have one attached, or one ready to use. You can still punch with it, though. So, you guys are stealthy. Now you're not. Rubbish, I think that's even less useful than the pendant. I still don't know what the pendant does, by the way, but it's rubbish. Look at that sky. I should really install DS Fix, which would give me better resolution, but even still, it looks really nice in my mind. Got another item over here. Humanity. Never gonna complain about getting one of those. And apparently, Hollow just killed himself. Now, one thing you have to remember is all enemies' positions are fixed. They will not change from one gameplay to the next. There are situations that can arise that'll change it a little, but if you want change, the only real way is to either change your build or do some person versus person, or even PvE, or even get summoned to a place or summon people. Which again, I will be making it my mission to show as much multiplayer as I can. Not in this area though, because a lot of people like to not level up their character and get the best gear in the game and just come and rape new players. Shit. Off he goes. Yeah. Non-consensual PvP with no level restrictions is one complaint I have about this game. But once you get past basically this first part of the game, people aren't dicks about it. At least not usually. Playing on the PC, there are currently less people playing than on the consoles, so it might be a little bit more difficult for me to find people to fight. Ow. See, a couple bad plays and I've lost over half my health. Wow, that's a strong little crossbow he has. What do we have in here? New shield. Great. You can see much better physical percentage block and more stability. Those are the main things I look for in a shield, as well as keeping its weight low, so I don't waste as much equip load on it. Of course, I'm not really looking for anything in a shield, just looking to in this, I'm just looking to be able to equip the shield. These guys are dicks and hide behind their shields, but you can kick somebody and they'll drop their guard. If you manage to do enough damage to a guy, you'll get what's known as an overkill, and you'll get 20% more souls. I'm not sure the exact number. Oops. That is me failing horribly. Luckily I have Estus. Hopefully I don't play like this the entire game. Hey buddy, talk to me.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Okay then. I'm gonna buy this, which will allow us to write messages for people. The bottomless box. I'll probably save it for the residency key. And because I do not have a ranged weapon yet, I'm probably gonna buy the short bow as well. That'll be the only purchase of a weapon I'm gonna do though. So let's get 1,500 more souls. And buy a couple arrows as well. Oh, was there a guy behind me? Nope, that's just a barrel. As you can see, even having two of these guys on me with a slow weapon like this, it's tough for me not to get hit. The other clubs at least have a jumping attack, but the Morning Star does not. The lack of a wide swing and any quick attack. The only advantage it has is it has a bleed effect, which I discussed in the previous video. If you didn't see that and you don't know what a bleed effect is, go back and watch it. I'm not going to explain everything about the game every video. We got some throwing knives. So, why don't I display the difference between the two soul consumables now, because I could use some more souls anyways. Here's a soul of the lost undead. 200 souls. Here is a large soul of a lost undead. 400. Now, because we want to get some souls, I'm going to use another one. And then probably show off the throwing knives a little. And I'm not sure if you can recognize where we are. Oh, I didn't make it. Oh well, I don't even know if there's anything up there. I just looked like I could make it. If you recognize where we are, we're just back where the dragon flew off into the distance. Man, that sun is pretty. Use up our last soul consumables to buy the 2 items we would like. Don't know why I can't just give you them, but you prefer to have them in the soft form, I guess. And you stop petting that.
Oh, you... Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave.
Do you want it to be your grave if you don't stop laughing at me like that? Then we can buy standard arrows or wooden. Standard do more damage, but we don't have much money. We could kill this guy and get a weapon, but he, I believe, is the only merchant who sells Lloyd's talismans. So I would like to keep them. Keep him alive, that is. And let's equip. We have our bow. I have to equip arrows. So, you can't fire it one-handed. You pull your arrow, and you shoot. I'm not going to waste my arrow. Or you can go into first person, pull your arrow, and shoot. But let's rest at our bonfire and hope we can get a new weapon. So, the bottomless box we bought. It's basically an inventory manager. Since we've used those two weapons and that shield, I'm putting them in the box. And remember, all the enemies are respawned. So, let's show. No. Did not mean to use the talisman there. I'm a little used to having the bow in the other hand. All enemies who wield a weapon have a chance to drop it as well, so we might be getting a crossbow from one of these guys eventually. But the bow's main use is to pull a guy. It does decent damage, but it scales off dexterity, which weapons tend to have a lower requirement for dex than they do strength. And there goes ragdoll physics. Then you can see this jerk just whipping firebombs at us. You know what? I don't like you. Or you. Whatever, you can't hit me. Fun fact, you can drop onto that ledge there and get that item, but then that'll put me in an awkward position. Didn't lock on in time there. You can shield bash like that enemy did to me, but not with a small shield like I have. Rather, I have a parry. Oh, and I missed the jump. Well, now you get to see the bloodstain mechanics. I kind of just wanted to display the jump so I would look like a badass. Rather, I look quite foolish now. But 524 souls isn't worth much, even at our level. There we go, that's more like what I wanted. Oh god. Oh god, this could be bad. We have no room to maneuver. And this enemy is pretty strong, and I have a pretty bad weapon in my mind. I'm sure somebody somewhere will argue that the Morning Star is the best weapon in the game, but that person is not me. Since this guy is very difficult, I'm just gonna abuse backstabs, not even try to parry him. Why? Because I'm bad at parrying. Hopefully I can get the bleed effect to work, but that requires fairly consecutive hitting, which is difficult. That's why bleed is much better on a fast weapon, like say a katana or a dagger. And he got us. But we got him to half health. Next time, I'm gonna pull him to a more open area, but I could not go up the stairs back there, as there are enemies there. Hopefully when we get back to him, we could have a better weapon. But, let's equip our new ring. Boosts her defense when her health is low. There's better rings in the game, but it's better than the rings I didn't have. Kick. You saw that black little flash there? That happened when that guy died? He gave me a humanity. Not a hard humanity, the ones that you crunch in your hand to get full HP, but a soft one, which means it goes directly to that marker up there. Let's use it and probably die because we used it. As you can see, we're no longer undead. Rather, now we have chest hair. We might be able to find somebody to do some cooperation with, but usually the people who are doing any multiplayer in this area are really overgeared. They're either ganking twinks or invading twinks. Ganking twinks being people doing cooperative to kill the invading twinks. But it kind of spoils the early game to just waltz through it with a really strong person. This room of 3 is usually quite difficult, but I managed to land the backstab. I'm not trying to backstab this much, I know it's annoying, but we got a new weapon, which we can fortunately use. Much better moveset on this thing. It's different as in if you don't hit somebody, you kind of stagger afterwards. You can see that, right? But then if I hit something, well, not a wall, but see the stagger animation afterwards. Now let's hit somebody. See, I kind of pull it out of their body afterwards. A risk-reward situation. It's shown very well in axes and polearms, well in particular halberds. And luckily you can roll through tables. Those were jerks. Got some black fire bombs, which is why I do not take some as a gift in the beginning. Their only real use is to kill this island demon at the very beginning. He drops a weapon. I did not take said weapon because it requires 50 strength to use. By the way, I'm not sure if it requires 50 strength to use, but I know it's higher than 11. Now let's kill these dicks who are firebombing us. Now that I got a funner weapon. Chop. 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 There's a door here. Let's go into it. That's why I bought the residency key. Well, That and something that will happen later. So we get a chest, which contains gold pine resin. You put that on your weapon, it does X amount of lightning damage every swing extra. So better on a fast weapon. I am not sure the exact number. I believe it's 150, which is extremely substantial when we're doing 40. But again, being composite damage afterwards, it's not as good as if I had 150 more physical. But since you can enchant a weapon that does pure physical, then it is good. Or at least you can enchant a regular weapon, not upgrade it to be elemental or such. I apparently can't hit this guy. And now, I want my revenge. Hey, you. Get up here. Back to this wide open area. Maneuverability is quite important when you're naked. Now I can strafe around him and get more backstabs. Because again, we're fairly weak for fighting him. We don't have fireballs or sorcery to blast him. So, just abuse the backstab mechanic and hope I don't get invaded while doing this. Well, I guess it's not really abuse, it's more using it. Hopefully after this first part of the game I don't have to use it too often. I'm sure it gets annoying. Crap. Okay, now that he'll be knocked down after this backstab. That gives me time to use a quick Estus. There is some interesting mechanics with the shield. They're not determined by him facing you, rather they're determined by you facing him. So if you attack and you're facing perpendicular to the way he is, you can actually attack through a man's shield. At least that's how it works in PvP, known as a dead angle. That's a pretty advanced technique though, you don't really need to use it to get through the game at all. Obviously certain weapons have more broad swings and are thus better for it. And we got a new sword. Great. We can't use it. Great. This is what happens when you can't use a sword. So, I guess we're going through this range for now. Great. I really did not want that to drop. So, once I run out of arrows, then the game gets fun. I don't know the controls for the bow very well. I'm so sorry, guys. That's going to be very painful to watch. Well, next area, I was going to kill a very large man residing at the bottom of this tower. But he's even harder than the Black Knight, so I'm not even going to try without being able to backstab. This is known as a crystal gecko. They drop what's known as titanite. That is used to upgrade your weapons. These drop rarer titanite usually, not just upgrade your weapon slightly. Rather, twinkly titanite increases special weapons like the Black Knight sword, while titanite chunks increase above a certain point. So you know what would be really funny right now? There's two crossbowers up there. If one drops a crossbow, I have no bolts. I will be forced to do I would be forced to run to the merchant or fight them off using only my shield as a weapon. Oh god, this is so painful. And yes, enemies can actually S this as well. I wish I would have bought more arrows. Okay, we have 21 arrows to fight this boss. So what I am going to do instead is I am going to bash him to death with my shield. You can actually attack with a shield like a weapon. And use offhand weapons as well. So, I'm going to fight this guy using my shield. Hope you're ready for this. Oh yeah, I didn't display my throwing knives yet. I will likely end up using my fire bombs. Oh, I can't enchant my shield? Oh god, we're slow at running. Oh god. Okay. Well, I'm not climbing back up the tower and using a plunging attack like I normally do. Rather, it's time to bash this guy with my shield. This is so not gonna work. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm gonna run to the merchant and buy some more arrows. I can't believe this. This is not what I was anticipating at all when I started this video.